and other free-range gardeners. We're going to talk today about some easy stuff that you can do to help make your greens last longer. So you've gone out, you've harvested them, they're beautiful, they're going to be delicious, but maybe you can't eat them right away. So here's some things to think about. So actually first, when you're thinking about going out into the field, if possible, whenever you can actually harvest in the cooler part of the day. The plants aren't as stressed at that time. They're basically just a thin little leaf. And so you can imagine that a leaf at 65 degrees is a little bit peppier than maybe a leaf at 85 degrees. Maybe it's just out there. Think about how you feel on a hot day like that. So whenever possible, sometimes we have a lot of hot string of days, but if you can harvest on a cloudy day or in the morning or something like that, that's a nice first step. It's not always possible, so let's talk about the other things that you can do. So we've got our greens. This is actually just a thinning of a tatsoi, but this would apply to lots of things. So, you know, we got our spinaches that are really popular, our arugulas and cilantros and lots of other thin-leafed salad greens and things like that. So the next what we're going to do is we're actually going to submerge the whole thing in cold water. So we've got our harvest container, which is basically a big colander, and we're going to get right in there, and you can see how they're very loose. They're loose in there, and that means all that cold water is enveloping them, and it's actually cooling them down, and it's removing that field heat we were talking about, which stresses out greens. So I actually like to take the hose. If it's been sitting with water in the line, I actually spray it out a little bit and let that actually fill with cold water so that I can submerge the greens. You might be tempted sometimes to perhaps spray the greens because it might save water, or you feel like it saves time. But if you think about a leaf right here, you actually can damage it by spraying, got a little excited there, by spraying directly with water. So you can see right here, all this dark right there, that's actually bruised cells. I got a hole there from the hose. So this is what's the first part that's going to degrade and get kind of goopy in your fridge. And you don't want that. So instead of doing that, we submerge it in the cold water, and then we take a salad spinner. We've got a couple of sizes here at the farm. And then when I fill it, I actually just try not to overdo it. So I've got cool greens. I'm just loosely shaking them. This is a very dense, little greens are very, very dense. So some of the big greens are a little leafier and bigger, but this is very dense. So I'm not going to fill it too awful full. So I've got these all in there. I'm not overfilling it, and then I'm just giving it a spin and trying to remove as much water as possible. So the next step, we've got the cold water, and we're not overfilling the salad spinner, and then we just really crank this. I actually get this one going and do it like 25 times at least, just to really remove as much water as possible. The drier that they go into your fridge, the longer that they'll last. I lost count, so for all you at home, you can tell me when I should stop. If I'm not sure, I check. I want to see it like really smashed against the side. So what I like is it's smashed against the side and I'm not seeing a lot of beaded moisture there, which is really nice. They actually do, comparing them to this, you can see they're much, much drier, which is a great sign. So then what I do basically, I give them a couple shakes, and then I take my container, and then the next step you can do is basically put them in a bag or something else. Instead of leaving them exposed in your fridge, sitting open like that, that's actually just going to wilt them. So instead I put them in a bag and I just loosely close it like that. Or maybe you have a crisper drawer or something like that. But that's another way you can help them last longer. So those are just a few of the things you can do to enjoy your greens if you can't eat them that day and you want them to last for a few days.